Hello, so in this lesson we're going to look at how do we go and create a table using SQL. So far in our lessons we have been using Access 2016 and the GUI available through that database management system to go and create the tables we need. But we also know that there exists SQL or SQL, structured querying language, and using this language we can actually go and create the tables alone. So let's have a go at this. On this screen that you have in front of you, we have an example of an entity relationship diagram. And on here we have three separate tables, and these make up part of a vets database. So we're going to create the owner table in SQL without actually using the GUI interface in Access. So let's start off by opening up Access 2016 and opening a blank database. And I'm going to give this a name, so I'm going to say vet database, and I'm going to put in 2019, and I'm going to create this. So now I've got a blank database. The only thing there is a table at the moment with nothing in it, so I'm going to close the table, and of course that's automatically going to remove it from the left nav panel because I didn't save it. Now what I'm going to do is going to click create, and I'm going to click here design or query design. So if I click on that once, it will come with a pop-up. We can close that. And see here now on the far left, I've got this SQL view. So I'm going to click on SQL view. And this will now give me a querying window in which I can type SQL to create a database. So let's type a SQL command. So first of all, make sure you've got caps lock switched on. And the command to create a table is quite easily enough. Create, and then table. We then need to go and actually give it the name we want to call this table. So in this case, I'm going to call it owner. And once we've done that, press enter, open a bracket, press enter again. And now what I can go and do is I can go and enter in all of the attributes that I want to exist in this table. So let's go and look at both the ERD and also this query window at the same time and start creating it. So the first one we've got here is owner ID, and we know because this is bold and underlined that this is the primary key. So I'm going to type in the name of the attribute field, so owner ID, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the data type. Now the data type I've already set in my ERD to be int, so now I want it to be an integer, so I'm going to type in there int. And then I know that I want to set this so that it will never be empty. Because again, to ensure entity integrity, a primary key can never be left blank. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the command not null. And this will prevent it from being empty or null or nothing entered in. And then I'm going to state very clearly primary key, because this is obviously going to be set as the primary key. I'm then going to do a comma and move on to my next attribute. So we've got the next one down here is surname. So I'm just going to type in surname, and it is a var char. And in brackets, I'm going to say what the maximum length of data that this particular attribute can hold. So I was going to say it's going to hold maximum of 50 characters, comma. I'm going to go for the first name. And it's going to also be a var char. And I'm also going to set that to 50. And then we're going to move down to address. And this one, again, var char, but this one I'm going to allow to be a slightly longer length of 250 characters, comma again. And last but not least, I'm going to set phone. And again, this one I'm going to want to be a var char, because remember we've got a leading 0, and we want to include that in there, so we can't use an integer. And I'm going to set this to be a maximum length of 15. Don't need a comma now because that was the last attribute that I needed from here. Going to press enter, close off that bracket. So now I have got a query. So what do I need to do next? So first of all, if I just want to run this query to create this table, I can literally just click the run button up here. So if I click that once, if there are no syntax errors in the particular SQL query I've got here, it will go and create that table for me. So now we can go and see the owner table. I can double click on it to open it, and oh yeah, here we go. I can see all of the attributes I wanted. We've got the right entity name. If I now change it to design view, I can see that the correct data types have been set, and I can even see that the correct fields lengths have been set in there for me. So everything is working out very nicely for me. We've seen here that it is a required field, so I can't leave it empty, which is the not null. So I can close this one down. How about if I wanted to save this query for the future? So I want to go back to create here, and then if I go and click save, it will ask me, okay, well, what do you want to save this query as? So I'm just going to call this create new owner table. And now I can go and save that query. And now we see on this pop-up here, even the query I've just created. So now I can always come back to it. So now if I go and shut down this query view, how do I open it again? Well, all I need to do to open it is to right-hand click and then click Design View. And this will open the query again in the view mode so I can see the SQL code. If I double-clicked it, what would happen is that the query would actually try and run again and try and create a new owner table. And it would actually give me this error because I've already created one owner table already. So now that you know the basics, what I need you to go and do is I need you to go and follow this process and actually create the owner table yourself. And then what I want you to go and do is I want you to go and create SQL queries to go and create the visit table and also the pet table.